I mean, not quite, but it is close enough. Now, the new ship, it did come out how many parts are going to be on this. Apparently, there's 6. The fuselage, the main body, the propellant, the propulsion system, which is actually the big giant bit at the top, the port necklace, nacelle, the starboard nacelle, basically the side engines, and the tail section, as well as engine cooling, I'm assuming, but I can't determine where that is. So now we know there are 6 parts to this ship. Or this ship. There is the fuselage, which is the main body, which is the bottom part. There is the propulsion, which is the top part, which kind of makes sense. There is the port nacelle, the starboard nacelle. No idea what they are, but they are these things on the side, being the left and right side. The tail section, which, as far as I can tell, is already attached from all the pictures. We will see. And the engine cowling. Well, we'll find out in time what that is. But, ooh, we now know exactly how much resources are needed to build this. You will need 6 million credits. It's 1,000,000 credits per part. That's 6 million. That is a lot of credits. An insane amount of credits. And then to run a double affinity weekend while everybody's waiting around for this to build. Oh, I wish I had every double affinity weekend I get screwed over because other things get in the way, not just in game, but 6 million credits to totally build this ship. You will need 100 cubics, which are the new resource that will drop from Xmas enemies on Ceres. I literally got all that I needed. The only time that you will need that resource is for building the fuselage, the main body of it. Then off to Europa to take on more Xmas enemies because you will need 120 carbides. Total, 60 for the propulsion and 60 for the port nacelle, or however, whatever that is actually pronounced as. So you will need a total of 120 of those. Yes, I took the time, I formed too many of them. That's because I'm trying to use up that double affinity weekend, as I mentioned before. It's probably not on if you're watching this in the future. It's not on as of tomorrow, but yeah, you need 120 of those. Then it is off to the land of the plains of Eidolon, because you will need 100 pustrels. These things. These you get from mining. Yes, it means more mining. It's not just that, it gets worse, actually. Because in Obvalis, you will also have to do some mining. You will need... There is 80 of these for the tail section and 40 of these for the engine cowling, which is obviously 120 of them. Those things are a living nightmare. I spent twice as long trying to get those as I did the pustrels. Actually, 3 times longer, because I think I was in there for about, a third of the time, and got less of them. They are annoying, but mainly because it's down to mining in Obvalis to get those. We could get into the very expensive side of it, which is the Neurodes and the Rubido, the Plastides, because the fuselage will need 3,000 Plastides and 15,000 Rubido, 30 neural sensors. Then the propulsion up top, which is what makes this thing called a Railjack, because I'm assuming it's because it rides on a rail, because it has that big circle in there, that will need 1,000 cryotics, 30 Orokin cells, and 20,000 nanospores. Then there is the portside nickel, which needs 5,000 circuits, 27,000 alloy plates, 200 control modules, the starboard side nickel that needs 500 field run samples. Luckily not built field runs, that would be annoying. 50 morphics and 35 neuroptics. The neuroptic needs on these, the Orokin cell on the need on these is nuts, but it's the tail section that is going to annoy the most. And we'll go back to this because I still cannot figure out what is it, this tiny little bit on the back here that is the tail section? And if so, why does it need 10,000 ferrite, 4,500 polymer, and 15 argon crystals for that? And there is more than one version of this. I mean, that could be why it's called a tail section at the back. That's why I keep referring to the cowlings. There is other footage of dev streams and other things I could have used for this, I am aware, but I kind of like that. The drawing side of it. Anyway, the engine cowling, once you've done with the rest of them, is 5,500, detonite ampules, 10,000 ferrite, and 10,000 salvage. This thing is expensive to build, and you cannot rush this. There is 12 hours between every single piece of it being put together. You cannot rush this. This is why the update came out early, so people have time to build this. You can see 12 hours, it's nearly done. Actually, that said 1 hour 26 minutes ago earlier, so that's backwards. No option to rush them. You cannot rush the building of the ship. This is just the preparation, so you don't have, what we're talking here, 3 solid days, ignoring mining time, missing this timer running out, which still says 1 hour 27 minutes, by the way. People may notice that one. Why? The timer on this does not go down as it should. I actually think the timer on this is malfunctioning because it was about an hour late for the first part. Or my time was just wrong. But yeah, it's expensive, it is very time consuming, but this is why they have released it in its own little update, rather than have people have to go through this 3-4 day process once it comes out before they can even fly it. So when Empyrean finally comes out, you can take your ship out, fly it, and have fun. Not to forget, because I've been wanting to mention this, fast travel, dry dock.